We're going to start with Megan Flood from ESPN, who asks, what responses have you received that have meant the most to you about your wearing masks to raise awareness of the tragic deaths of people of color?
Okay. I think the responses that meant the most to me are probably people saying thank you. And for me, I don't know, it always takes me by surprise because I don't feel like I'm doing anything. But people say thank you and I'm proud of you. And for me, that's something that's really touching to my heart. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like when I'm in the moment, I'm not aware of how many people are watching, but when I leave the court, then I feel like, I don't know, I interact with people, so.
Thank you very much. We're now going to go to the video board. And for our journalists, if you could limit your questions to 2 questions, and if I can get back to follow-ups after we get to everybody, I certainly will. So let's first go to Ava from the Washington Post. Ava, you are live with Naomi.
Hey, Naomi, got another non-match question for you, but kind of following off what you just said. You mentioned that Steph Tsitsipas has been one of the people who's been kind of engaging you more on what you're doing with your on-court messaging. And I know you talked about your friendship before, but what does that relationship kind of mean to you in general beyond what he's just asked you these past couple of weeks? And why do you feel like you guys are so simpatico? You seem to be really good friends.
I mean, I'm gonna say it from my side and then maybe you can ask him later, but for me, I just feel like we're kind of similar in the way that, I don't know, we both like to ask questions, but we're both sort of in our own world a little bit. And I feel like for me, it took a little bit to understand him, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I just think that, I don't know, it seems like we're both really honest and we don't sort of flit around the subject, so.
What about him, I guess, what do you understand about him now that you feel like you didn't when you guys first became friends or started interacting?
This is gonna sound kind of weird. I think what I understand about him now more is like he's very genuinely curious about everything. And I think there's a lot of things that, you know, because I was raised in America and he was raised in like Europe. So there's a lot of culture things that are very different. So things that I might think are very common, like common knowledge, isn't common knowledge to him. So just like breaking those barriers.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Ava. Let's now go to Nina from tennis.com. Nina, you are live with Naomi.
Hello.
Hey, can I just ask who you most would want to show up on the live post-match call on the court and why?
Who I most would want to show up on the post-match? Honestly, probably my dad, just because he's the one person I can see would never do it. Like literally anyone in the world, I don't think my dad would be the one to do it.
I hope he does next then.
Doubt it.
Thank you, Nina. Let us go to Reem from DPA. Reem, you are live.
Hi, Naomi. Congrats.
Thank you.
Naomi, that crazy game where you saved 5 break points in the third set, I'm wondering how pivotal was that for you? And what was your biggest takeaway from that match for you? Because you really needed to dig deep to get through it.
Yeah, I feel like that game was very important. And honestly, I'm not sure how it would have went if she won it and I would have had to break her back, but thankfully I don't have to think about it too much. And I think my biggest takeaway from her game is that she didn't back down from me, or from like the speed of my ball, which for someone that young is kind of amazing because I feel like, you know, the first set went that way, and then she could have faded in the second set. And of course in the third set, towards the end, I feel like physically I was better and I was, of course, more experienced. But yeah, I feel like she's definitely going to be dangerous.
Does it feel strange to you that in a match like that you're kind of the veteran, and because she's 18 and suddenly you're not in that age bracket, whereas you were kind of there fairly recently?
Honestly, not really anymore, to be honest. Like after I played Coco twice, I just feel like, you know what, she's probably the youngest person ever. So anyone that I play that's, you know, younger than me, I'm just gonna be aware that they worked very hard to be, you know, on the other side of the net for me, and I have to treat them with respect and I don't know, try my best to beat them, I guess.
Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Reem. Let us now go to Ben from the New York Times. Ben, you are live.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Naomi, I'm wondering, I'm wondering for you. We're currently trying to figure out where Adrian Manarino is. He's supposed to be playing Alex Zverev, and it seems like I know there's things about positive tests and exposure to people who've been tested positive, and no one's really sure what's going on because we're not on site right now. And I'm curious, just for you, does it feel everything like it's going calm and smoothly there on your end as a player, or does it feel like there's still a lot of chaos or confusion about everything that's happening in the tournament right now? Just what is the sort of mood from your sense?
I mean, for me, it feels very normal and calm. There's no staff running around panicked. But I would say probably if you were one of the 11 people, I heard that there was 11, then maybe things would be different. But from my end, everything seems kind of calm and like every day is the same sort of thing.
And you've obviously been so socially engaged with a lot of events that are going on in the U.S., bringing awareness to them. And the tournaments and the tours have also put the Black Lives Matter signs on the courts at different locations now. And I'm curious if you think that the tour or athletes could also be doing things more worldwide focused. And there's a lot of events, protests going on in Belarus, where there's a bunch of players from. There's other things in other countries as well. Would you like to see the scope expanded to outside of just American events as well?
Yeah, I feel like definitely that would be the end goal, because tennis is an international event. It's played by so many people around the world. And I feel like there's always a very good opportunity to speak out about subjects. But yeah, I feel like as soon as one player starts talking about it, then it kind of opens the door for everyone else. So I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Let's now go to Courtney from the WTA. Courtney, you are live.
Hi, Naomi. Just talking about the end of the second set and going into the third and bouncing back. Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sorry.
Yep. So it obviously looked frustrated at the end of the second set. And then she took the medical, and it was a long break, about 3 minutes before you had to serve it 2-1, and you immediately fell behind love 40. What was that kind of whole span like for you, just to kind of reel in just where your head was at that moment emotionally, and knowing the pressure in the early part of that third set, trying not to get broken?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was, I don't know, it was an unfortunate timing personally for me, to just have a long break right before I'm about to serve. But situations like that happen, and honestly what I was thinking was just to like stay calm and not use too much energy, if that makes sense. Like I didn't want to expand too much energy. So that's what I was thinking, and then unfortunately I was down very quickly, it felt. But yeah, luckily my serve backed me up in times of great crisis.
And going down the stretch in that third set, what do you tell yourself? Do you tell yourself, go down swinging, hit the ball, power for power? Do you tell yourself, don't miss? pull off a little bit? Like, what are you telling yourself when you're under pressure in those third sets?
Yeah, it's a mixture between those two. Like, depends on the point, depends on what she does during the point, but most of the time I feel like I get myself into bad situations because I'm not swinging and because I'm not the one dictating. So I feel like definitely there were too many times where I was just thinking about, getting a ball back over the court and hopefully she'll make an unforced error and things like that. So in the third set, I was definitely thinking about being more of the dictator between us two.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Vani from Uber Tennis. Vani, you are live with Naomi.
Hello.
Hi, Naomi. My two questions are, first of all, how does your leg feel? And secondly, you looked very displeased with yourself at the end of the second set. I was wondering if you could tell us what disappointed you the most of the way you played in the second set.
That's a nice word, displeased. I was definitely very displeased. Okay, I guess I would say I'm starting from the second question, but I guess I would say the thing that made me most displeased was probably the decisions that I was making, and the fact that I started becoming way too passive and hoping that she would, make an unforced error. And for me, I felt everything was going really well for her during the tiebreak. And I remember she came to the net and I hit it as hard as I could towards her and she made it. And for me, I was just like, whoa, this is unbelievable. But yeah, I would just say I was very displeased with how I was performing towards the end of the second set. And then your first question, I forgot about it.
The leg. How's
Okay,
your
yeah,
leg doing?
sorry. So my leg, I think, I don't know. I felt like I was moving well today. It could be better, but I think for a three-set match, the amount of movement that I did and the fact that I felt like I could have kept going if I really needed to is definitely a good sign.
Okay, we have time for a few more questions. Please make them short and to the point, please. Up next, Jeff Williams from Newsday. Jeff?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
What were you thinking about when you pulled the towel over your head at the start of the third set?
Oh, you don't want to know
That's something
that.
you do once in a while, right?
Yeah, it's what I do in times of extreme anger and frustration. But I guess, like, if I was being if I simplified it, what I was thinking was, I have a really good opportunity to do well in this tournament, and I'm aware that all the matches that I'm going to play is going to be very difficult. So I just need to, like, reel in my emotions and fight as hard as I can for this third set.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Billie Jean King has said some really nice things about you recently. And she also said that in tennis, one generation passes the baton on to the next generation. A full 50 years ago, 9 women, including Billie, joined with a magazine publisher and a corporate executive to get the women's circuit going at a really, really tough time. Are you familiar with the original, what I call the original 9, and that chapter of women's tennis history? And if so, could you talk about it, please?
So I don't know that much about the history. Like, if I had to take a test, I would probably fail. But I feel like I know enough in order to be aware that the position that I am in right now wouldn't be possible without the efforts of everyone. And for me, I feel like there I don't know. For them to do that is super brave of them. And for me, I feel like sometimes when I get texts from her, it always surprises me and I always feel very honored. And I feel like the fact that she's backing me up so much means a lot to me, especially through, what's been going on the past week or so. So, yeah.
And one of her famous slogans is "Champions adjust." She loves that slogan. Does that sentiment ring true to you as a player?
I'm trying my best. I feel like I could, probably do better, but I think so. I think that, you get in uncomfortable situations sometimes and you definitely have to adjust to them and you can't really bulldoze your way through. So, yeah.
Thank you, Bill. And for our final question in English, we go to Craig from Crosscourt.
Naomi, a question for you. It's a non-match question. When the draw originally happened, it listed 9 women that were mothers. There were 3 in the third round, and in the third round. What do you think of that? And looking into the future, when you become a mother, and you could still play, do you think you would come back on tour and play and travel around with a child?
I mean, for me, it's really nice to see because, I don't know, like, you can feel that they love the sport so much. And I personally think it's really nice to see like little kids running around and stuff. So I like it. And honestly, that's so far ahead in the future. I haven't really thought about it, but I think, if I miss the atmosphere and the fans that much, maybe if I do have a kid, I might want to come back for 1 year, but just because I really love the sport.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Craig. And this concludes the English portion of our press conference. We will now switch over to Japanese. We can go right in. And up first will be Akatsuki. You are live with Naomi.
こんにちは。お疲れ様です。
ありがとうございます。
今日の相手は18歳で若い直美さんよりも4歳若い選手でしたけれど、相手が18歳ってああいう向かってくるプレーをしてるっていうのを見たときに、何か自分も昔こんな感じだったなとかこう思い出したりとか感じることがあったのかというのと、直美さんが18歳の時の直美さんと今の22歳の直美さん、一番違うところ、成長したところはどういうところだと思いますか？
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't really thinking about her age while I was playing her. She was a really tough opponent, so I had no time to think about how old she was. And yeah, I feel like I stopped caring too much about how old people were because I used to obsess over it, and I used it as a timeline for me to feel like I should be doing this at this age and this at this age. Yeah, I didn't really feel like it was helping me out at all. And also, what was the other thing? I feel like the biggest thing between me when I was 18 and me now is probably my sense of confidence. Because I feel like no matter the match that I play, whatever happens, I'll always have a chance to win the match. And probably when I was 18, I felt like things were too out of my control and I didn't have that much experience playing matches, so I wouldn't even know where to start. And I think that this is something that you can only learn from playing on tour and playing matches, so she's probably going through that right now.
Okay. Thank you. For our Japanese journalists, one question each, please. We have a lot of journalists. I want to make sure I can get to everybody. Let's go to Ko. Ko, you are live with Naomi. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're good.
聞こえてますか？
はい。
I got here.
Go to Hitoshi.
今このお客さんはいないけれどセンターコートだと周りにいろんな選手があなたの試合を見ている状況になってると思うんですけれど、それがこう変に意識してしまったりとか、こうプレッシャーになったりとか、それともあんまり気にしていないのか、どういう感じで受け止めてますか？
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I don't think much about it. I did I don't know. I try not to look up too much, but I did notice like people from Zverev's box watching. But it didn't make me nervous or anything because I feel like when there are spectators, coaches and people come and watch your match anyways, but you can't see them because they blend in. But it definitely is very interesting and fun, this way of the way they set it up.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Hitoshi. Hitoshi, you are on live with Naomi.
大阪さん、こんにちは。
こんにちは。
大阪さん、聞こえますか？
はい。
聞こえる。試合のこと、セカンドセットのフォースゲームで、ブレイクポイント6回大阪さんあったんですけど、そこをブレイクできなかったんで、相手がまたキープして、ちょっとなかなか大阪さんにとってはちょっと精神的にちょっと難しくなったんじゃないかなと思ってたんですけど、そこら辺メンタルでちょっと少しずつなんか揺らいだっていうか、大阪さんになんか影響ありましたか？
Yeah, I feel like definitely that game in the second set was a turning point, and I do remember it being very long. I wasn't aware of how many break chances I had, but yeah, I felt that, I wanted to get down on myself for not converting the break points, but at the same time, she's on serve and she was playing very amazing for those break point chances that I had. And I tried actually like so many different things, but she's sort of had an answer for all of those. So yeah, there are just some things that are out of my control, and I felt like that was one of them.
Thank you. We have time for two more questions. Hiro and then Masako. One question each. Thank you. Hiro, you are live with Naomi.
Me? 大阪さん、今日の試合、多分ウィナーも、アンフォーステラーも、エースも、相手よりも少ない。それは昔の大阪さんの多分スタイルじゃないと思いますけど、とてもすごくそれでも強かったっていうのは、なんで大阪さん少し変わったのかなっていうのはどういうふうに思いますか？
Yeah, I feel like the me back then probably would have felt very panicked by the play style that I just sort of had to overcome. And I probably would have started going for a lot, even in very difficult situations. But right now, I feel like I'm really fit. So if I have to neutralize a ball back into the middle, then that's something that I can do. And I feel like I'm able to reset points. So I think maybe that's one thing that I learned over these many years that I've been on tour.
Okay, thank you. And the final question goes to Masako. Masako, you are live with Naomi.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have no audio. Thank you, everyone. Naomi, thank you for your patience. Great press conference. And thank you, everyone.